Well, hello YouTube! Omi has finally got sort of utility, so therefore we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so you might have noticed that I haven't done any videos for quite a while, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly is there wasn't really much going on with Omi. So therefore I'm more into Omi than I am into the Veve side of things, because it's just constant drops now essentially that just go to, go half price or whatever. So therefore not really interested in it as much anymore. But also I've sort of achieved a goal of mine as well, which was when I started this channel, I kind of wanted to try and essentially make some money for it at some point. And now I'm actually a creator for a couple of different companies, so therefore I'm actually constantly working now, doing different videos, so therefore it's quite hard to get to do normal videos, because obviously that's, along with my job as well at the same time. So, but anyway, now we've got some Omi utility, we can talk about it. But before we do, I thought we would talk about this, and that is how to keep yourself secure when you've got your Omi in your wallet. Okay, so I'm going to use the fishes.com site here to explain what I'm talking about, but basically what I'm talking about here is when people get drained. And there's a couple of reasons why people get drained, and in fact, in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot going on with SIM swapping. Now, SIM swapping, for those who don't know, is basically when somebody pretends to be you, they phone up the phone company thinks it's you, and you want a new SIM card, so they send it out to that person. And then when they put that in their phone, they then have access to your phone, essentially, without actually having access to your phone, because it's just a SIM card. So then what happens is they can then log into, say, Binance or something like that. They can try and hack your password, or they might even have some sort of, software on your computer. And then they could then do the 2FA that goes to your account. Now, I'm using Binance as an example, but it's not always the case. But use 2FA, and then they can log in using that 2FA because of the fact that they got your details, you see? So that's what happens with SIM swaps. Now, there's not really many ways to actually combat this, because of the fact that although you could say to the phone company, you need a password from me in order to send me out a SIM card, that doesn't really matter, because a lot of times there's somebody on the inside when it comes to the phone companies, because you've got to think about these people when they're working there. They get offered a lot of money to give over a thing. They're going to do it, aren't they, at the end of the day, because they probably won't get caught, probably won't get found out, and they can make themselves some money. So therefore, there's a couple of things you can do to try and help to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Now, the likelihood of it happening to us is very, very slim, because we're not big influencers in the space or anything like that. The ones that it mainly happens to, we've had it happen to BitBoy Crypto, we had to Elio Trades the other day, and a few other ones as well, so who I can't remember. But the point is that when it happened to them, what they did was they didn't actually try and log into their Binance or anything like that. They didn't need to do that. All they needed to do was log into their Twitter account. They just basically hijacked their Twitter account, or their Instagram in some cases. And then what they would do is they would use that to put a fake link into Twitter for other people to click on to get drained. So it wasn't anything to do with BitBoy Crypto in the sense of he wouldn't have lost money, but the people who clicked on his link because they trust him would have lost the money, and therein lies the issue. Incidentally, this did happen to Randy Chavez as well, and I think he secured his account a little bit better now, but that happened to his Twitter as well, and it took him a while to get it back, and it must be a really annoying thing. So therefore, what can you do to stop this? Well, firstly, obviously there's 2FA, but if you get SIM swapped, which I don't think Randy got SIM swapped, but the point is that if you get SIM swapped, then, they've got your 2FA, it's on your phone, so turn that off straight away. You don't want it to be 2FA. But secondly, what you can do is you can get yourself one of these. Now, this is a ledger device. At this, you can hold all your crypto on this, but not only that, there's a section in this which is really cool that basically allows you to make it into a YubiKey type thing. So what you do is you set it on these different websites like Binance or whatever you want to secure, so that the only way for somebody to move your assets or log in even to the account, like in Twitter and that kind of thing, is to use this as the 2FA. So basically what that does is it means that if you have this in your possession, you can log in, which incidentally, once you've logged in a couple of times, it normally remembers it, so you don't have to log in every time with it. But if you were to log out, or you're trying to log in a different device, then it wouldn't be able to log you in, which is a great added extra security thing. And that all comes on a Ledger device automatically. You just have to install the little app, like you install the app for Ethereum or whatever. You install the app, I think it's called Fido or something like that, or Fido, I'm not sure what it's called, I can't remember. But the point is that you install it on there, and then you use that as your YubiKey to secure all your passwords and everything. Of course, you've got Google Authenticator as well, and you've got Authy as well. So you've got other ones that you can use as well, unless you're massively a massive influencer or with a lot of crypto, I wouldn't worry too much about that. But the side thing you have to worry about more is the fact that if you click on one of the links that is attached to the official site. Because when it's an official site, it means that you think that it's safe and therefore you don't worry about the security aspect of it. And this is the issue right here. So now I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do to protect yourself to make sure that you don't get drained like some of the massive influencers in, in the crypto space. Or there was someone I was looking at Twitter the other day. They got all of their NFTs sold on Blur as soon as they clicked on something. And it was literally, this is somebody who is who's not an influencer in the terms of a YouTube channel, but they are part of projects and they are major in the crypto industry in general. And they should be able to protect themselves. They should know, but sometimes they just make mistakes and it's just the way it happens. So here's a couple of things that you can do to make sure that even if you were to make silly mistakes, it doesn't matter too much. So the first thing is Aurox wallet. I've talked about this before. It's a great wallet. It's basically in place of your MetaMask. And all you would do is when you buy something, you just send it to like whatever you want. If you're buying crypto or if you're buying NFT, you send it to your Aurox wallet instead of buying it to your MetaMask. Simple as that. So therefore, what happens is the Aurox wallet itself has different built-in features to make sure you're a bit more secure. It has a simulation of transactions, and it also has, a thing that tells you about phishing sites. Is this a phishing site that's been put up? That kind of thing. So basically, it's a really secure wallet, and it's a great thing to get. If you haven't got one, it's completely free. And you can even earn crypto, I think, by recommending people. So it's their own crypto, from what I can gather. But if you want to use the Aurox wallet, then feel free to use the link in the comments below. There's also a video which I will leave on the end of this video, so that way you get to see what the Aurox does, because it's really quite cool. However, if you don't want another wallet, because not everybody wants another wallet at the end of the day, it's I've got to download a wallet, I've got to do a seed phrase, all that sort of stuff. So what you can get is something else, which is these two little pieces of machinery up here in my taskbar. So here's my MetaMask. This is just a fake MetaMask that I quickly made up right now. So there's nothing in it whatsoever, as you can see. Now, this is the Fish's site. This is from Brockman Blockchain. For those who don't know, he's one of the Omi community members, or Veve community members, I guess. One of the Veve whales, essentially. And he created his own thing called Fish. And Fish you're going to be able to use in the Veveverse, which incidentally, obviously the Veveverse is out now for beta testers. Sounds like it's really good. Can't wait to try it. Sounds really cool. A lot of people are saying, well, it's just like spatial. What's the point? Well, the point to me, and this is something I wasn't going to talk about, but I just thought about it now, and that is that the reason that Veveverse is going to be better than spatial is because it already has its users. Spatial has to try and gain its users, whereas Veve has people who already want to be part of that Veveverse. So for that reason, it's already better than spatial, or better than any of the other metaverses that come out, because you've already got people who are actively playing around inside their showrooms, and they're very excited about what they can do in the new Veveverse. In fact, Brock put up a few things on Twitter, so if you haven't followed him on Twitter, make sure you do. And you can put up like your own skyline and stuff like that. So he put up several resources that you can use to be able to get your own skyline and stuff, which is really cool, and something I'd not heard of. So anyway, this is Brock's site, the Fish's site, and as you can see, a great little site, and you've got a connect wallet option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what would happen. Now, if you were to click on one of these links from Leo Trades or Big Boy Crypto or whatever, then it's going to take you to a site that's going to look exactly like the site you think you're clicking on. So for instance, Imposters was the one that got hacked, so therefore that's the one that they put up a link and said you can get your free imposter here or something like that. So people think, wow, I get a free imposter from Leo Trades. They click it automatically. There's a couple of things you can do. Firstly is look to see if the comments are turned off. On Twitter, whenever there is some sort of fake thing going on, they always turn the comments off, because people start talking straight away saying this is a scam, this is a scam. They don't want anyone to see that, so they just turn the comments off. Also, look to see if the language is slightly different to what you expect that person to use. So, and that way you can sort of tell, because generally when people are talking, if it's a scam, then they probably have just a copy and paste type thing they use. Whereas when somebody puts something on Twitter, they usually have their own generic way of speaking, or a non-generic way of speaking. So therefore, that might be a big clue. But the massive clue is if the comments are turned off. That's a big, big clue that it's a scam. So if you see that, then don't click it. Simple as that. But what happens if you do click it? Oh no, I clicked it. Well, don't worry, because look, and this is what happens when you have this. This one here. Wait, nope, I don't want to mint. No, that's not what I want to do. Hold on, let me go back up here. We want to go to sign up and log in. That's this one here. And then just here, if we go to Connect Web3, now remember my MetaMask is open. Your MetaMask will have to be open to do this. You'll click on it and look at this. This is Wallet Guard. This is really cool. Basically what happens is it pops up and it says that you're signing into Fiches. Now, incidentally, when you click on these other links, although it comes up like you're signing in, it's actually allowing a transaction. So therefore, what might happen, and this happened to somebody the other day, is that you might say you don't want to do that transaction, then you go off to somewhere else, and then you legitimately go to, say, OpenSea, for instance, and it pops up with, do you want to sign this transaction? And then what happens is that other transaction is queued underneath it. So that's another thing you've got to be careful of. It's queued underneath it and you don't realize, so you click yes, and it automatically actions both of those transactions. Okay, so do bear that in mind as well. Make sure you massively look at what you're signing in your MetaMask if that's the case. But the good thing about Wallet Guard, and the other one I'm going to show you, Pocket Universe, is that these things do it all for you. So basically this says here, you are signing a transaction, tells you what your account is, and it will tell you what you're signing into. If it was something else, it would say you are signing into this and it's going to cost you this much, or they have access to this. So it basically tells you in plain English what's going to happen. So I'll click continue on this one. And the reason I'm going to do that is because here we've got Pocket Universe that also is popping up. Now the great thing about Pocket Universe is that if you sign something and then somebody takes all of your stuff, you have insurance of 50%. It's crazy, I know. So therefore, even if you were to lose everything, you still get half back as long as you're using Pocket Universe when you do it, because they are so sure of their software, which I suppose if you argue that if they're that sure, they should give you 100% back, but they're so sure that it's going to be okay that they're willing to give you 50% of your crypto in return if it still turns out to be a scam and if you get drained, even after you're using Pocket Universe or if it doesn't pop up or something like that. So therefore, yeah, make sure you have Pocket Universe installed because it's definitely worth doing. And this one, exactly the same. This type of signature is not able to move your assets and is usually used for signing in. Whereas with the other one, what will happen is you would click on it and it will say, this is a transaction that can take all of your NFTs in your wallet. The total amount you would lose is, and then it will tell you exactly in plain English. So once again, they're both really cool. But the thing I like about both of these more than anything, and then you say, look, Wallet Guard's popping up again. Let's go continue. Then here's the signature request for Fiche. Now I know I can sign it, so that's not a problem. And also I've got, and now here, look, it says start transaction to create a simulation. So therefore, this can now do a simulation of the transaction to see whether or not you're going to get scammed or not. So this is Wallet Guard. Whereabouts is it? That thing disappeared. It doesn't matter. The point is that if there was another transaction, now I'm not going to do a transaction on here because I don't have anything on my MetaMask wallet. I'm not attached to it properly. But if you were to then do a transaction, it would then do a simulation of that transaction. So therefore, I've now got both of those. I've got Pocket Universe and Wallet Guard both on the same browser. And I've also got the Aurox wallet for triple extra protection. So therefore, that means that in order for me to lose all my funds, I've got to go through all three of those, stupidly clicking on the yes, 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 yes of all those warnings before I can get anything stolen from me. Now, there is a bad thing about this, and that is that if you're trying to buy something really quick, then you might want to disable these things if you know it's a legitimate place. Like, sometimes it's a legitimate place, you've got to buy it quick before you get in, you need to buy a license for something, or you need to buy an NFT before everyone else does. If you've got to go through this process 3 or 4 times, it's going to take a while to buy anything. However, in the normal scale of things, in the normal world, we don't really do that much. So therefore, I would suggest you get all 3 of those, put them all on there, they're all free. And the good thing about the Wallet Guard and the Pocket Universe is they're literally just browser plugins. That's all they are. So therefore, it automatically works. You don't have to attach your wallet or anything like that. It detects the transaction and tells you in plain English what you're doing. So there you go. Anyway, that's that. And now let's go over to the Omi website so we can see what's going on. Okay, so here we are on the Veve Master Collector program and the Omi website. Now, incidentally, this is this new site. I really like this. I hadn't seen this much before. I sort of looked at it like quickly, but now it's really been updated with lots of new stuff. You've got the MCP bit there, Veve 101, all the different updates that they do, the regular updates. So if you miss any, there they are there. It's really cool. But one of the things, or a couple of things, firstly, you got a couple of new drops, haven't we? We just had the Star Wars X-Fighter drop. We had Green Lantern as well. All of these are really cool drops that have just been coming out. We've got the Jurassic Park 30th anniversary. That's really comi Some of the stuff in there is a bit crazy, a bit weird. Not my thing, but, I know a lot of people are really excited about it. And, of course, we've got some art as well from old Nano X. They are bringing this guy, I'm not going to butcher his name, but they're bringing him to the app as well with these Lego creations. So it's really good, all the new stuff that's dropping. Now, personally, I probably won't be going for any of it because, I don't really go for Veve stuff that much anymore. I tend to think of it as a bit like a massive toy shop. And that is that you can buy certain things in that toy shop. Like if you bought Star Wars figures years ago and you kept them in the box and you held on to them, they're worth a lot of money. However, you could have bought He-Man figures and they're worth jack all. So therefore, I kind of feel the same with Veve at the moment. When it first started, it was a bit different. When it first started, you wanted to get the first editions, you wanted to get everything that was first, and everyone was going crazy for it. But there was a lot of manipulation at the same time. Whereas now it's kind of settled down, it's only collectors at heart. Or collectors, and no flippers or anything like that, just collectors. And therefore, it means that to me, it's basically like going into a toy shop and buying a toy. If you want to buy the toy, you buy the toy because you want to play with it or you want to do whatever you want with it. Maybe you want to use it in Veveverse. But if you want to buy it because it's going to be an investment, I think it's going to be a little bit harder. It's like going to a comic shop, isn't it? Same thing. Some of them are going to be worth money, some of them aren't. And therefore, it's your job to gamble on what is going to be worth the money, essentially. So, I personally won't be going for many of these ones. Maybe people are more going to gravitate towards the art than they are towards collectibles. Who knows? But I don't see anybody really wanting the little computer man jumping around. But hey, I could be wrong on this one. I probably am. As I said, I'm not really in the knowledge on Veve in that sense, but I see it as a big toy store. And if I don't want to buy the toy, I don't buy it. As simple as that. So that's the way I work with that one. However, let's have a look at the MCP, because this is a thing that's people have been going crazy over, the Omi reward tiers. Now, I was going to do a video the other day because I was speaking to Reese in Twitter, and lots of people were saying how he's been sacked and blah, 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 and all this kind of thing, and I was actually speaking to him about it, and obviously he hasn't been sacked. You now know that anyway because he came out with this stuff. But I was going to do a video to say, look, he is alive, he is the thing, he's just taking a bit of time off, essentially. Which is what, some other people said already anyway. So the point is that Reese has now, or Reese and the team, shall we say, has now just come out with this, which is the Omi reward tiers. Now, incidentally, when they were talking about this on Twitter, I believe, and I'm not sure if they said it here or not. Let's have a look. I'm the world's fastest reader. They don't say it here, but I think they said it on Twitter, if I remember rightly, and they basically said that they're going to put the details of all of the other stuff they've talked about down below, but not all of it is going to come to fruition. So that's what I'm a little bit worried about. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit worried about what's going to come out and what's not, because so far, all I'm seeing is the fact that if you buy Omi, you buy 10 million Omi, say, and you put it in the Veve app, then you actually get just reward points. Which is fine if you're a collector. If you are a collector of stuff and you want to buy more of your collection, more toys, essentially, then you are in luck because of the fact that it means that you would want to buy Omi, so you get more collector's points, so that way you can buy more stuff. However, if you're not a collector, I don't see the point of you buying Omi and putting it in the app. But, maybe that's just me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But from what I can see from this, now, maybe, I'm sure lots of people are going to say this in comments as well. The point is that I'm guessing you're probably going to say, well, it's start of the thing, it is level 0, so therefore other things are going to be added. And that's true, that probably is the case. But it would be nice to know what those other things are that are going to be added, because Veve notoriously have this thing of saying something and then doing something different. And that's been happening through the entire stretch of Omi, essentially. There's always been something that's said, and then people go, oh yeah, that's great, this is going to happen, and then when it happens, something else happens, and it completely flips it on its head, and then it becomes a completely different investment to what you originally were in. Because now, if you think about it, all of the things that were happening at the start, there was supposed to be burns from Omi supply and all that kind of stuff. Well, now none of that's happened at the moment. It's all being burnt, but it's all being burnt in the background, so it doesn't really matter. And they've also said that they're going to get rid of that system anyway, so therefore, really, that doesn't matter at all. So this whole thing about getting excited about when an NFT is bought is rubbish now, because you don't need to get excited anymore, because there's nothing happening when it gets bought. It just means that you get the NFT, and that's it. There's no buybacks, there's none of that sort of stuff. Now, the good thing is that obviously they've got all the other utility stuff that they said that they were going to put in, but they didn't mention that in this first 0 scene. So I guess maybe they're holding it back and they're waiting. But are they still going to do the bronze tickets? Are they still going to do an NFT to Omi, or Omi to NFT even? They haven't talked about that one again. So, maybe that's a bit worrying. But to me, it's a great thing because they've started. That's the main thing. And they have started putting stuff out. Now, how long is it going to take before the next bit is put up? I don't know, because obviously they've probably got to wait until this bit goes into fruition, and they've got to sort out the point system, and then see if the points are working and do a beta testing on that, and then that and that. And maybe they won't roll out the next thing until then. So therefore, how long is it going to be till Omi 2 NFT comes out? How long is it going to be till we get Bonds tickets? How long is it going to be all of these things? Now, obviously, when all these things are in place, then yay, woohoo, it's going to be good. But for now, even the fact that you can't even buy Omi in the app at the moment is a really big hurdle for people, because it's all very well saying to the collectors on Veve, hey, all you got to do is deposit 10 million Omi into your account and you'll get master collector points. And them going, woo, I want to put collector points into my Omi account so that way I can buy lots of Star Wars things when they come out because I like toys. But the trouble is that most people don't know how to do it. And even if you follow the instructions, they're so difficult that people just get lost in it and just like, oh, you know what, I'm just not going to bother with this. So until it's actually on the app, or on at least an easier exchange, but even if it's on an exchange, it doesn't matter, because they've still got to take it from an exchange and then put it into MetaMask, then put it onto layer 2. Now, for some of us who've been doing it a little while now, it's not a big deal. It's not a different at all. You know, one of the reasons I shied away from crypto for a long, long time is just I couldn't be bothered to learn it, to be honest, because there's a long learning curve in most of the things. And a lot of the time, especially with money, you end up losing money in order to learn. You know, I've lost quite a lot of money in crypto. I won't say I haven't. You know, I've made it back, but I haven't, and I've learned stuff, which is great. But at the same time, I would wish that I could learn that quicker and easier. And the thing about crypto is it's not really mass adoption proof at the moment at all, is it? So therefore, you know, in order for normal collectors to be able to move the Omi from their MetaMask or from an exchange onto layer 2, it's going to be quite difficult for them at the end of the day. And yes, there are videos on there, and there's videos on the Omi site themselves that they've now put up with the Omi blockchain team describing how to do it and everything. And I think Foster's got a video out as well, and a few other people as well. But you know, it's still going to be difficult for people at the end of the day. It still means that they have to sit down and they have to do it. They might not have time to do it. They might not be bothered or whatever. And all that for what? For some fake invisible points that they can't actually use yet either. Because until they actually come out with what you can use them for, yeah, it's a bit like, oh, okay. Well, all right, we know that we can get extra drops maybe, or we can use those points to buy maybe bits and bobs in the Veveverse maybe, or something like that. I don't know. They haven't really said, and that's kind of the whole thing, is they never really say. I keep on knocking my mic. They never really say what's going on. But I guess if they said it all in one go, then there would be all sorts of issues because of the fact you just have pumping, and then that would be a little pump, and that's it, nothing. But let's have a look at the price incidentally, because we can see that it has done something to the price. Obviously, it was way down here. 0.00071, or even lower than that even. And then we had a little pump because of Veveverse. A lot of people were saying, oh, well, why is it pumped 4 days before the announcement was made, as though it was like a special thing, and lots of people found out about it, did the thing, and then they dumped or whatever. I don't think that was the case. I think it was purely because Veveverse was announced, and, you know, that's going to cause a little pump, even though we weren't part of it. And incidentally, there's an interesting thing. Do you think that by letting in beta groups of 100 at a time or whatever, does that not diminish the whole okay, I guess it makes it more secure and it makes it better for them in the long run, but does it not diminish the whole pump factor of it? Because when you're being let into something slowly and carefully, it kind of gets a bit boring, doesn't it? Whereas if they open it up and they go, look, Veveverse is live, boom, then everyone goes in it, it's like, wow, and then the pump goes. But if they go, there's 100 people, there's another 100 people, there's no hype. Do you know what I mean? I just see other projects that do a lot of hype for stuff, and they manage to make, you know, tokens soar or whatever because of the fact that they do the hype. Whereas Veve kind of go the opposite way, and they just try and put it in stands like that, in steps. And I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about that one. But at the end of the day, as much as we like to say we're all collectors at heart, we're also here to try and make some money, or most of us are. So therefore, as if anyone in the crypto space, and anyone tells you any different, I think is not being truthful there. We're not really here for mass adoption and to make people believe that crypto is the future. We're literally here to try and make as much money as we possibly can. So therefore, if it's not going our way, we're going to complain about it, and that's when you get FUD at the end of the day, isn't it? But it is what it is. I'm happy for it in the long run. I believe that when when more is announced that we're definitely having, rather than just saying some of it might be there, some of it might not, I think people will be more secure and sure of what's going on, because at the moment, MCP points are really only for collectors, and that's it, which is a good idea because they're catering to the people who are already on the app. And, you know, at one stage there was quite a few people, but, you know, a lot of those people were just flippers. They were just here for the money. So therefore, the ones that are here now, it means that quite a lot of them will go and buy Omi to put into their account if they can figure it out. And therefore, it's a good way to cater to it. Rather than trying to get new customers, they're using their existing customers to try and bolster that Omi idea, so to speak. But I just don't feel that anybody gets an advantage from it apart from the collectors. Because, like, for instance, if you're not a collector, do you know, and there's no bronze tickets or anything, at least bronze tickets, you could sell them to somebody who is interested. Whereas with this, you know, it's, But, you know, at the end of the day, if they bring more stuff out, which I'm sure they will anyway, this is Season 0, as they said, so therefore it's the start of it. I just feel it's a little bit lackluster because I was expecting a lot more from it personally, but, you know, I was hoping for more. But I'm not worried about the future of the token. It's just that the present at the moment is just kind of slowly meandering along, and every time we do get a pump, we get a dump straight away, don't we? But anyway, that is life, I suppose. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.